Disappointed, man. Week 9, game week 9 of the Premier League. We'll start with the Emirates, obviously. I said it before, though, and I'm not even surprised. I said it before. We'd win the game if we played a three-man midfield. I don't know why we're not changing up the system at the moment. I don't know why the personnel hasn't changed either. I don't know how Basuma doesn't get into the squad. Get into the first 11. I don't know how Spence isn't getting a game. I don't know how Doherty's not getting a game. I don't know how we're not playing free midfield right now, especially with Kulusevski out at the moment, who seems the best of the front three to obviously, be a bit more creative, think more outside the box, if that makes sense. We'll start with the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Tottenham 1. I feel a bit vindicated about that because I did mention that we should play a midfield 3, and I do think a midfield 3 would have worked. If Basuma plays, that Partey goal doesn't happen. If Basuma plays, that Jesus goal doesn't happen either. And as for the last goal, I think it's just a consequence of us going down to 10 men. But I need Emerson Royale dropped with the quickness. I don't think our transitions are good enough. I don't think we're quick enough. We can't seem to pick a pass. We can't seem to string a couple of passes together. It's all just all over the place at the moment. I don't really know. I don't really know where else we go from it, especially if Conte is not looking to obviously change up the system. We're going to be stuck with this. The shining light of this is that Emerson Royale is not actually going to be available for this weekend at the Amex. That's where we're going. We're at Brighton this weekend. Tough game. And Brighton do like to score goals and have a pretty decent record against us since they've come up. And I'm not anticipating a lot, but I do know that Basuma has to start. I know that for a fact, and I hope he does because we need it. As for Arsenal, I don't see this run lasting too long. You can call it hate all you want. I don't care. They've had a decent run start to the season. They're not going to outperform Manchester City or other teams in the Premier League at the moment. They're in a good moment at the minute, but they won't be able to sustain this the whole season. So, well done to you. Said as sarcastically as possible. But yeah, Arsenal 3, Spurs 1. We'll go to Anfield next. Liverpool 3, Brighton 3. So this is what I was saying with regards to Brighton. Brighton, even now without Potter, they are one of the best ball-playing teams in the Premier League. They are one of the best to watch. And it seems under this new manager that's come in, I can't remember his name, Italian fella. He's come in and it seems to have picked up the mantle straight away. Brighton actually went 2-0 up in that game. Got pegged back, actually went down 3-2 and then scored a last 2-3 minutes. Trossard goal, a hat-trick for Trossard. A player who I rate quite highly, actually. Brighton are on bits. They are on bits this season. They are really, really, a really good outfit. And they're gonna match everybody this season, to be quite honest. Anyone they play is going to be in for a game with them. I anticipated Liverpool would win that 2-1 last week. But again, Brighton are one of those teams. They score a lot of goals. They do concede quite a few, but they do score a lot of goals. So that's what's going to stand them in good stead. It ended 3-3. Liverpool just haven't found form at all this season. They haven't been at it. They go to Arsenal this weekend at the Emirates. It's going to be a tough game. I'm going to predict that to be probably a score draw. I don't know where their corner is going to be turned. I'm going to be honest. I think it's down to the fact that they've used their system so much. A lot of the players are now actually burnt out. But that's just my theory. If you got any other theories, let me know, innit? That's just kind of how I see it. But yeah, Anfield ended 3-3, so a point apiece. We'll go to Craven Cottage next. Fulham versus Newcastle. That was Newcastle 4, Fulham 1. Chalobah got sent off for Fulham and pretty much everything else after that fell apart for them. Fulham, who have been in decent form as well this season as well. Very, very good, especially at home. Very strong. Had no answers for Newcastle after going down to 10 men. No answer whatsoever. Newcastle's resurgence continues. I say resurgence. They've actually had a really good season, a good start to the season as well. And they've also drawn against Manchester City. So I called it. Newcastle are one of my teams of the season, along with Nottingham Forest, who have not played well at all. Forest. We'll get to them in a minute. But Newcastle are still out here picking up points. Really, really good unit at the moment. They seem to have a far more balanced side as well at the minute. And I don't see them in many sort of sticky situations this season, to be quite honest. The football they play is very open, very attacking. They're not a pragmatic team at all. They don't sort of sit back and wait to counter. They like to get at you, and I like that about Newcastle. They've got really good players that can hurt you on any occasion, and do really good transition, especially in their midfield area where Bruno Guimaraes seems to just play man of the match performances every game. But no, good performance from Newcastle. Picked up 3 points at Craven Cottage, 4-1 to them. We'll go to St Mary's next. So Southampton versus Everton was a little bit of a drab. Everton played quite well. Actually, that's probably the best I've seen Everton play all season, bar the Liverpool game a couple of weeks ago. Picked up a 2-1 win at St Mary's. Southampton are a weird one for me. They play really, really well some weeks, i.e. beating Chelsea a few weeks ago, and then they have teams like Everton coming to them, and then they get absolutely dominated from start to finish almost. Everton clearly went there with a game plan, and it clearly worked. Unbeaten in 6 now in all competitions, I believe, Everton. So they've picked up a bit of form. They were one of my teams to actually get relegated this season, but it seems though, and to be fair, I did mention this last week as well, the signings that Frank Lampard has made seems to have made a bit of a difference with them as well. So they're in an ascendancy period at the moment now, which is obviously good for them. Southampton, I do have a little bit of worry for, and Southampton go to Manchester City this weekend, and I do think, and I put a bet on this one, Haaland. I'm going to put a bet on Haaland to get a hat-trick, because I think he will again. There was a bet going on Sky Bet at the minute, so you guys might want to check it out. Haaland to score in both halves, Salisu to get a yellow card and 10 corners in the game for 20-1, something like that. So I had a bit of a look at that, and I put something down on that as well. But good win for Everton, in really good form at the moment. Southampton are a little bit of trouble, I'd say. They don't seem to have an out-and-out goal scorer, and they concede a lot of goals. It's not the recipe for staying in the Premier League, and I think they might be in trouble, to be honest with you. We'll go to Selhurst Park next. Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. Chelsea ended up winning 2-1. But Palace having large chunks of the game, they could have put the game to bed on so many occasions, but didn't do it. And obviously, if you don't do that against a team like Chelsea, you will get punished. Exactly what happened. And to punish them, Conor Gallagher came back and haunted them. Scored the final goal of the game, I believe, in the last minute. Amazing goal as well. Goal was absolutely sweet. Chelsea didn't play all that great, but they've got this resilience and resoluteness about them. They're very difficult to shake off and beat. I mentioned that I thought Palace would actually beat them. They did go 1-0 up. Couldn't hold or maintain it, to be quite honest, but you get that. All of a sudden now, Crystal Palace are in the bottom 4. All of a sudden, Palace are in the bottom 4. Didn't think about that until now, and I was like, oh, hang on a second. Palace are actually down there. I don't remember the last Palace win. I think it might have been Selhurst Park. I think they beat Brentford, was it, maybe? I don't think they're in trouble. They've got a good side. They've got really, really good players. Eze, Elise, of course, Zaha, obviously. Edouard is a good striker. And obviously, Joachim Andersen, defence as well. Very, very good players. But at the moment, it just doesn't seem to be clicking for them at the minute. As for Chelsea, they'll be there or thereabouts, in and around the top 4. Expect nothing less. Aubameyang starting to score now. Still got the likes of Sterling and Mount, and I'm not going to mention Havertz. He hasn't really done much this season, to be honest. But no, still a pretty decent unit for anybody, and will be in the top 4 race, obviously, as you'd expect them to be with the amount of money they spent. We'll go to the Vitality Stadium. So Bournemouth are actually in a very good run of their own as well again. I think I mentioned this last week. I think their manager won the manager of the month, didn't he? I think he might have done. No, it was Ten Hag. But unbeaten in 3 now, I believe. Another clean sheet as well against a really decent Brentford outfit. Not much to talk about that one, to be quite honest. It was a pretty dire game. It was the last game on Match of the Day to my recollection. I think it was. Ended 0-0, point apiece. One of those points that will mean a lot more to Bournemouth than it will Brentford. I don't think Brentford need it. I think Brentford are more than safe this season. Bournemouth may, obviously, because they will be in a relegation dogfight. I just don't think their squad is strong enough. And they don't have that know-how or knowledge to stay up in this league. The players they've got there are very much championship caliber. And Eddie Howe did a mad job when he got them up. So I just don't see that happening for them this season. I really don't. Last game on Saturday was West Ham versus Wolverhampton from the London Stadium. Wolves outplayed, absolutely outplayed. Neto is injured again. He's now going to miss the World Cup. He's got an ankle injury which needs surgery. Bruno Lage has been fired since, and now I understand that Wolves are looking at Jonah Lopetegui to come in to potentially save them. Wolves are in free fall at the moment. They don't like to score goals for some reason. They always seem to want to concede goals as well. There's not much I can really say about them at the moment. They play really attractive football as well, which is the most annoying thing about this, is because they're a very good footballing side. A bit like Brighton, very good to watch, but have no end product. Brighton actually know how to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's literally the only difference. Nothing seems to be working. Jimenez is out. Costa's not up to speed yet. Podence's form has gone out the window. Pedro Neto is now injured. Moutinho, Neves aren't doing the things they were doing last season. I think they're being closed down a lot more, to be quite honest with you, and that's obviously how you stifle them, and that's clearly what's happened. As for West Ham, usually good at home. I think that's only their second win of the season. Looked quite comfortable throughout from what I remember. Got a really good striker on the hands with Scamacca. Very intelligent striker. I didn't realise this about him before. Very, very intelligent. Very good to watch. Very good movement. A really good finisher. They've got a really good striker on their hands there. I'm a little bit annoyed because he's at West Ham. But it's neither here nor there. They ain't going to do nothing this season anyway. But they did pick up 3 points, so well done to them as well. Moving on to that Sunday. Well, where do we start? I think there's only one place to start. That'll be at the Etihad. Erling Haaland. I think I saw that there was like a campaign against him to actually be, kicked out of the country because he's scoring too many goals. I'm not going to lie, he's coming in, he's battered up the league. He's absolutely battered up the entire league. I think he's already on what now? What's he on now? 14 goals in 9 games in the Premier League alone. I think he's on like 18, 19 in total. In less starts. It's mad. He's on a madness right now. Manchester City 6, Man United 3. The game was over in the first half. They were 4-0 up. Foden twice, Haaland twice, and then both got one more each in the second half to complete their hat-tricks. Man United were never in the game. I mean, 6-3, it looks like it was a great game. It was a one-sided battle pretty much all the way up until Guardiola sent on his subs. And then obviously Man City just took their foot off the gas. Didn't have to do any more. Game was already a dead game. Man City are going to win the league by a landslide. I actually don't see anyone beating them this season. I actually want them to go on and win the quadruple, to be quite honest with you, and go unbeaten, because obviously then that will stop certain sections of fans running their mouths. And then there's another team that can obviously come and do it a bit better than they could. So let's see. Obviously, I'd love my club to win a trophy, absolutely. But for the culture, I wouldn't mind seeing Man City just go and bat up everything and just kill everyone else. So I'm all for it. So yeah, City 6, Man United 3, Erling Haaland and Phil Foden hat-tricks. Penultimate game on that Super Sunday was Leeds versus Aston Villa from Ellen Road. 0-0. Entertaining game, actually. I thought Leeds were actually very, very good for their point, because they did go a man down as well. Sinister, I think, got sent off. Good play him as well. 2 stupid yellow cards, though. Aston Villa, I just don't think are very good. And it's the same thing I keep on saying every week. They need to try and play Watkins and Ings in the same starting lineup. They have to. They got to go with 2 strikers. The one striker up top for them doesn't work. They don't have the pace to obviously get forward. They've got creative midfielders that aren't creating, so they need to obviously try a new style, a new way of playing. And it would be that they have more than one striker up top. For as long as this continues, I don't see Aston Villa picking up any points. I don't see Gerrard tinkering too much with his style either. So I think that's going to end in a bit of a disaster, if I'm being honest with you. Leeds hang on, very resolute, as you'd expect them to be at home. They have been all season. So it's a good point for them picked up, considering they played pretty much 35, 40 minutes of the game with 10 men. Monday Night Football, Leicester City 4, Nottingham Forest 0. That's their first win of the season for Leicester City, and they absolutely slapped Nottingham Forest. Literally packed them in like a packed lunch. Yeah, Forest had chances but couldn't put them away. Didn't have a striker that could do the business. James Maddison is in the form of his life, it would seem. Another couple of goals for him. He actually allowed me to win a bet as well. I needed him to score a couple of goals and Leicester to win the game by more than 2 goals, which obviously they did. So no, they're in a decent week for them. Not sure how the rest of the week is going to go for them because they've got a tough game. They go away to the Vitality at Bournemouth, Leicester do. But it's good to see them on the boards. I don't think Leicester will get relegated, to be fair. Contrary to what other people think, I do think they'll start picking up points because that team still is too good to go down, even though they have lost a few key players as well. But yeah, good win for Leicester, 4-0. As for Nottingham Forest, not really much to say. Too many players in the squad at the moment. I understand as well Steve Cooper got a new contract today. So he's extended his contract by another 3 years. So he's there till 2025, I believe. I think they should stick with him anyway. He got him there. He should be allowed to spend the money that he spent and obviously try to fish out an 11 that would actually do bits. And I think he's good enough to do it. I still don't think Forest are getting relegated. They are obviously in the bottom 3, but I don't see them being relegated. I can't see it. I think they'll pick up. Team is very, very good, and they will click soon. I really genuinely believe that. So we'll go into match day 10. We'll start with tomorrow. We'll start with St James's Park, Newcastle versus Brentford. I think Newcastle are going to win that game by a landslide, to be quite honest. I think it's going to be sort of 2-1, 3-1 type game, but Newcastle will probably dominate from start to finish. I don't think Brentford are that good away from home. I expect Newcastle to go all guns blazing as well. They've got Callum Wilson back as well. Still have Isak sort of bedding into life in the Premier League at the moment as well. I'm not sure when Saint-Maximin is back as well, but he's an addition to come back too. So I think Newcastle will definitely turn Brentford over tomorrow. I'm going 3-1 there. Bournemouth versus Leicester, I mentioned it before, the Vitality. I see that being a draw. Bournemouth are on a decent run of form at the moment. Seem to be a bit more resolute at home. Defensively look a lot tougher to beat. Leicester going forward are looking good, but are still very, very shaky at the back. Anything can happen in that game, but I'm feeling a score draw there, so I'm going to go 1-1 for that. Manchester City, Southampton. I'm going to make, I've told you about this before, a couple of bets on here. I've got Erling Haaland to score in both halves. Obviously, Salah to get a yellow card, 10 corners in that game. I'm also going to go Erling Haaland to get a hat-trick in that game as well. I am also going to go with a scoreline as well. I might pick 3, so I might go 7-0, 8-0, 9-0. The reason I'm going 9-0 is because Southampton have been beaten in every season prior to that, 2 seasons before, and last season, I think, they lost 9-0 in both of those seasons. I think this might be another weekend where they're going to hold another 9. So it could actually happen. So yeah, I'll go Manchester City 7-0, 7+, I think, and Haaland will get another hat-trick there, I think. Southampton have no hope this weekend. Chelsea versus Wolverhampton at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea to win that for me. I'll go 2-0. Wolves can't seem to score goals. Chelsea seem to be in form at home as well. Had a good midweek against AC Milan also. Won that game 3-0. So they seem to be going in the right direction. Potter seems to be getting his tactics right, implementing a very, very good style for Chelsea as well. And Chelsea seem to have picked us up quite easily, to be quite honest with you. I think he's still undefeated, Potter, as well. So doing a decent job there so far, but we'll see how the rest of the season pans out. But I'll go 2-0 Chelsea, Stamford Bridge over Wolves. Brighton versus Tottenham is the Saturday night kickoff game. So that's live on Sky, I believe. I want to say we're going to win the game. I want to say we're going to win the game 2-1. I want to say Basuma's going to play. I want to say we're going to be in there with a 3-man midfield. I want to say that, Emerson Royal can't play anyway because he's suspended. I just want to see a bit more verve about us, a bit more zip. We know we could play quicker. Back in the last season, we were doing it game in, game out. We were slapping teams left, right and centre. That's why we scored so many goals. I don't know why he's chose this pragmatic style, Conte, to be honest. I know he doesn't want to lose. I know he likes to defend, but let us off the leash for certain games. And I think this is a game we could really get at Brighton if he lets us. But it all depends on the lineup for me. So I want to say, if we do play a three-man midfield with Basuma starting, I believe we take this game 3-1. If we don't, and we've been playing the games we have been playing with the same style and the same system, I'm inclined to say we'll probably lose this 1-0, maybe nick a 1-1 draw. But it's live from the Amex at Brighton, obviously. So that is that for me. It depends on the lineup for me, to be honest. Sunday, West Ham versus Fulham, live from the London Stadium. I see this one being a score draw again. Both teams can score. Fulham have been in very, very good form. Mitrovic, I believe, is on like 6 Premier League goals this season, which is a madness already. West Ham sort of starting to find their feet, I suppose. It screams 2-2 to me. So that's what I'm going to go with. West Ham 2, Fulham 2 this weekend. Crystal Palace versus Leeds United. That is live from Selhurst Park. Leeds United, I don't think, are very good at away from home. They're very dogged at home. They like to make things tough, and the crowd do get onto you. Crystal Palace is one of those stadiums, though, that they like to do that to you as well. Almost nicked the points against Chelsea last week, and I think they'll get their fair share this week. I do believe Crystal Palace would beat Leeds. I'm going with a 2-0 scoreline on that. Massive Super Sunday game. Arsenal versus Liverpool, live from the Emirates. So, interesting. Liverpool have not found their form yet. Arsenal seem to be in the form of their life. I do see something contrasting happening in this game. I'm actually going to put my neck on the line and say Arsenal take this game. I initially thought 2-2, but I think Arsenal might take this game, especially from the Emirates, where they're in good form. They're on a high at the moment. Won again yesterday in the Europa League. I think won 3-0 their game. Liverpool did win their Champions League game midweek as well against Rangers, but both of those goals were from set pieces. And I don't see how Liverpool are opening them up as they should be or should have beforehand. In saying that, Liverpool have a really good record at Arsenal. And I can't remember the last time Arsenal have beaten Liverpool, to be quite honest. So they do have history on their side. I just think the way things are going at the moment, Liverpool not being in form, I do see Arsenal picking that up, and I do see a 3-2 scoreline there. I did say 2-2 initially, but I do see Liverpool scoring also, because I don't think Arsenal are that good to keep anyone out at the moment. Defence is yet to be severely tested, and obviously that'll be the telling part. But I'll go with a narrow Arsenal 3-2 win. I can't believe I just actually said that, seriously. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We've also got Everton versus Manchester United on Super Sunday live from Goodison Park. I think that will be a draw, score draw. I'll go 1-1. Could quite easily go Everton's way. I don't think Man United are the finished article yet, and they absolutely got dismantled last week as well. Luckily for them, Everton don't have an Erling Haaland in their ranks, but they do have a Neil Maupay. And he's a very, very good striker as well. Likes to sort of play in that sort of hole. Not as an out-and-out number 9. He can actually come deep as well. He likes to play wide, and obviously links things together. So that might be something worth looking at for Everton. For Man United, Ronaldo's still not playing. I think Martial and Rashford scored yesterday in the Europa League clash, winning 2-1. I think 3-2 it was, wasn't it? Yeah, against Nicosia. I'm going to go with an Everton Man United draw. I'll go 1-1, but Everton could absolutely turn up and beat United, especially under the lights. It's a 9 o'clock. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff, I believe. So I do see there being goals there for sure. And then the final game of week 10, we're looking at Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa, live from the City Ground. I see Nottingham Forest picking up points there again. I don't think Aston Villa are good enough to go there and get a win. I just don't think the squad is good enough, and I don't think the formation they play is of any real intent to score goals. I still think they need to go 2 up front. I believe Nottingham Forest, especially under the lights, night game there, crowd will get on top of him. It'll be really loud. Atmosphere will be really good. I think that suits Nottingham Forest. I'll go over a Nottingham Forest 2-0 win there, with Brennan Johnson getting on the scoreline as well. So that's me for another week. I'm probably going to give you another video, probably the same time next week as well, We'll obviously go through week 10's results and then go through week 11, game week 11, to see what happens. But in the meantime, I'm going to stew on that Arsenal result for another couple of days, make a few bets, win a few bets, feel a lot better, and then I'll come back refreshed and ready for you lot next week. Be good. I'll see you in a bit.